I trusted them with everything. My blood, my brother. And the girl I saw a future with. But in the end, it was they who tore me apart. What do you do when your closest people become the sharpest knives? I was never one for a big crowd. Never needed more than a few real ones by my side. And for most of my life, that was Eli and Malik. Eli was my cousin, technically, but we were raised more like brothers. Our moms were sisters, and we lived just 5 houses apart. From our first bikes to our first heartbreaks, we went through everything together. There was no me without Eli. And Malik, he was the friend who stuck through everything. We met on the first day of kindergarten when he shared his crayons with me because I forgot mine. We've been glued ever since that if Eli was my blood, Malik was my soul brother. The 3 of us were thick as thieves. We had matching chain bracelets we got at a street fair when we were 14. Called ourselves the Triad. It was corny, but it meant something. Loyalty, brotherhood, trust. Then came Ava. I met her during my second year of college. It wasn't fireworks right away, but she had this quiet intensity. Her energy drew people in like gravity. She could walk into a room and change its temperature without saying a word. She wasn't loud, but she was unforgettable. She was into poetry, indie films, and had this habit of tracing her fingers along the rim of her coffee cups when she was thinking. The first time I saw her, she was arguing with the professor about the meaning of a Sylvia Plath line. I knew right then I had to know her. We clicked fast. Coffee turned into study sessions. Study sessions turned into late-night talks. And those late-night talks turned into kisses under library lights and stolen glances across crowded rooms. She wasn't just a girl I dated. She was the one I saw a future with. The guys liked her right away. Malik said she had main character energy. Eli joked that she was too cool for me, but he said it with a grin that let me know he was proud. The 4 of us hung out all the time. Road trips to the coast, movie nights where we fought over snacks. Karaoke sessions where Ava sang off key and Malik made it worse on purpose. Eli always filmed us, said he was archiving our youth. And I believed it, believed in them. Believed in us. But they say the devil doesn't show up with horns and a pitchfork. Sometimes he shows up as your favorite people, laughing beside you in the car, taking pictures on your phone, hugging you like they'd never lie. Looking back, there were signs. But love has a way of putting blinders on your eyes and warm wool over your instincts. And I love them, all of them, Ava, Malik, Eli. If trust was a bridge, I had walked across it blindfolded. What I didn't know was they were already setting it on fire behind me. Trust doesn't usually shatter all at once. It cracks slowly, subtly, like glass under pressure. You hear the faint creaks, you feel the hairline fractures. But you tell yourself it's fine. It'll hold. Until one day, it doesn't. That's how it started with Ava, Eli, and Malik. Small things you could almost ignore if you wanted to. And I wanted to. The first time something felt off, it was a Thursday night. Ava and I had made plans to watch a documentary she'd been raving about. But around 8 p.m., she stopped replying to my texts. I waited, called, no answer. The next day, Malik and I were grabbing lunch, and he casually mentioned he'd talked to Ava late that night. Said she'd called him to vent about school. Thought you were asleep, bro, he added, shoving fries into his mouth. I wasn't asleep. And she never mentioned it. A strange feeling sat in my gut, like cold water in my chest. But I swallowed it and I told myself, they're friends. It's nothing. Then there was Eli. He'd always been playful. Ava liked that about him. Said he made her feel at home. But his compliments started hitting different. You're too smart to be real, he once told her. If Jordan messes this up, I'm taking over. He said it with a grin. She laughed and I laughed too, but my stomach twisted. I remember one night at a bonfire, the way he looked at her when he thought I wasn't watching. Not a glance, a gaze, lingering, silent, like he was memorizing her. I chalked it up to paranoia. I didn't want to be that guy. Jealous, controlling, insecure. Ava would tell me, I love how much you trust me. So I held on to that. I chose to believe in her, and in them. Because what's a relationship or a friendship without trust? But then more cracks appeared. One time, I left my phone charging in the living room while I stepped into the shower. When I came back, Ava was sitting near it. The screen was off, nothing unusual except her expression. A flash of guilt, like she'd seen something she wasn't meant to. Everything okay? I asked. She smiled too quickly. Yeah, just checking my own messages. It didn't add up, but again I didn't push. I told myself, stop being dramatic, Jordan, that you're just overthinking. But I wasn't. I was seeing. I just wasn't ready to believe what I saw. The real tipping point came during a game night. The four of us, Uno pizza, music the usual. Ava played a draw for on me, and I jokingly said, "Oh, so you're turning on me now?" Without skipping a beat, Eli smirked and said, "Told you bro, she's switching teams." Everyone laughed. But that phrase, it hit different. Especially the way Malik looked at Eli afterward. A quiet glance, not surprise. Not confusion. Recognition. As if he knew something I didn't. That night, when Ava went home, I sat in my room replaying that moment over and over in my head. Their expressions, the timing, the way she leaned into Eli when she laughed. And the way Malik went quiet after. Was something going on? Was I crazy? I didn't want to be the guy who accuses his girl and his boys without evidence. But I didn't want to be the fool, either. So I made a promise to myself. If something was going on, I'd find out. And I'd find out on my own terms. What I didn't know was, I wouldn't have to wait long. They say the people closest to you don't need weapons to hurt you. Their presence alone is the blade. Their silence, the wound. And their betrayal. The final cut. It was my 23rd birthday. I'd been planning the celebration for weeks, not a big party, just something meaningful. Something with the people who mattered. I had this vision, taking Ava up to my family's lake house about an hour out of the city. Just her and me. No distractions. No city noise, just peace, water, and us. Eli and Malik had helped me plan it. Malik even joked, "Bro, if you propose up there, I better be best man." Funny. Now I know the joke was on me. That morning, I woke up excited, nervous even. Ava and I had been drifting a little lately, and I thought maybe this weekend could bring us back. But when I called her around 10 a.m., her voice was low, groggy. "Hey, babe. I don't think I can make it," she said. Migraine hit me out of nowhere. I just want to stay in bed. My heart sank, but I kept my voice calm. "All right. Rest up, okay? I'll call you later." She mumbled something soft, "Love you," and hung up. Disappointed, but understanding, I packed my things and decided to go alone. Maybe I needed the break anyway. I left around noon, driving up the winding roads toward the lake. Halfway there, I realized I'd forgotten my phone charger. And I had no music downloaded. I turned the car around. It was an inconvenience, just a small one. But that detour changed everything. Back in the city, I swung by Malik's place first. He always had spare chargers. We often crashed at each other's apartments back when we were broke college students. His car was in the driveway. So was Eli's. Weird, I thought. Eli lived across town, and Malik had never mentioned him coming over. I rang the doorbell. No answer. Then I heard laughter from inside. Not regular laughter. Her laugh. I stepped closer to the window. The blinds were half open. And that's when I saw it. Ava. On the couch. In one of Malik's hoodies. Eli sitting right beside her, too close. Malik on the other side. Ava leaned into Eli, giggling. He brushed her hair out of her face. And then she kissed him. Slow, soft, like it was natural. Malik watched. Didn't react. Like it wasn't the first time. I froze. My body went cold, like my blood had stopped moving. I wanted to believe I was wrong. That I misread it. But you don't misread a kiss. You don't mishear your girlfriend laugh like that in another man's arms. Especially when that man is your cousin. I didn't barge in, that I couldn't. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. I backed away from the window, got into my car, and drove. Fast, reckless, like if I sped fast enough, the pain would fall behind me. I ended up sleeping in the back seat at a gas station 2 towns over. And for the first time in my life, I felt completely alone. The next day, I didn't answer anyone's calls. Not Malik, not Eli, not even Ava. What was there to say? They didn't just break my trust. They burned it alive. I remember sitting in my parked car, staring out at a rainy sky, thinking, was it all fake? The laughs, the memories, the I love yous? Or was I just the last one to wake up from the dream? That night, I opened my phone and looked at old photos. The 4 of us at the beach. Me with my arm around Ava. Eli and Malik doing dumb poses in the background. All smiling, all lying. I deleted every photo. One by one. Except one. The one where Ava was looking at Eli. And he was looking right back. I had never noticed it before. That look. That moment. I didn't delete it. I kept it to remind myself. Never ignore the little things. They become the big things. There's a kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful. It feels heavy. Like the calm just before a tornado levels your life. That was the silence I sat in for 2 days. No music. No phone calls. Just me and the echo of betrayal. On the third day, my phone lit up. Malik. Where you been, bro? You good? That text. It made my blood boil. You good? After everything he'd done, after what I saw. He was still playing dumb? I didn't hold back, that I sent one line. You tell me. No reply. No call. No apology. Just silence. That same night, Ava showed up. I opened the door, and there she was, makeup streaked, eyes puffy. She looked like she hadn't slept. I'd dreamt of this face 100 times, but not like this. Jordan, she said, her voice trembling. Please. I need to explain. I didn't say anything, I just stepped aside and let her in. Not because I forgave her, but because I needed to hear it from her lips. I needed the truth to have a voice. She sat on the edge of my couch like it burned to touch. I messed up, she said, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Good start, I thought. It started with Eli. That night after Malik's birthday party. You had left early. He stayed. I don't know, we were drunk, and it just happened. Just like that. Like we were a chapter, and he was the plot twist. I told him it was a mistake, she continued. But then it happened again. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I could barely look at her. And Malik? I asked. She hesitated. He found out. Months ago. Walked in on us once. He didn't tell you, because he said he didn't want to hurt you. I laughed cold and hollow. He didn't want to hurt me? So he just watched you cheat on me with my own cousin and said nothing. She nodded slowly. He said it would break you. It did break me, I said. Ava's tears started falling, and for a second, some part of me wanted to comfort her. How sick is that? I still love you, she whispered. That made it worse. She wanted to say her guilt was love. That she cared too much to stop. That maybe I'd fight for her now, like I didn't fight hard enough before. But I wasn't going to do that. Because love isn't supposed to feel like this. You didn't just cheat on me, I said. You chose to betray me. You looked me in the eye, both of you did, and pretended like nothing was wrong. That's not a mistake. That's a decision. She tried to speak, but I raised my hand. I hope one day you hate what you see when you remember this. Then I opened the door. She stared at me, pleading with her eyes. But I didn't budge. And she walked out. That night I broke. I didn't scream, that I didn't throw anything. I just sat on my bedroom floor with a hoodie wrapped around me like armor and stared at the wall. I felt hollow. The kind of pain where your body forgets how to feel normal. And in that moment, I realized something. I was grieving. Not just Ava, but Eli, Malik, the life I thought I had, the people I thought I knew. And grief is cruel because it comes in waves, and sometimes the worst wave is when you remember something good. A road trip, a joke, a look. And it crashes into the truth and breaks your chest all over again. I didn't speak to any of them for months. No text, no social media. Blocked, erased, cut off. I saw them in my dreams more than in real life. And the worst part? Some days I miss them. Even though they hurt me. Even though they wrecked me. Because when people live in your heart that long, kicking them out doesn't mean you forget where they lived. But I stayed silent. Because sometimes silence is the loudest way to say, you're dead to me. They say when something shatters inside you, you don't always hear it. Sometimes it's just a slow, aching silence that follows you like a shadow. That was me for weeks. I didn't eat much. Didn't answer calls. Didn't turn on the TV. Didn't leave my apartment unless I absolutely had to. I wasn't living, I was existing. My mom came over one day, uninvited. Used the spare key she insisted I keep. She took one look at me and burst into tears. Said I looked like a ghost. You've always had such a big heart, she whispered, pulling me into a hug. Don't let them take that from you. At the time, I brushed it off. But those words stuck. Don't let them take that from you. Because that's what betrayal does. It doesn't just break your heart. It makes you want to build a wall around it. I started writing. Not to be poetic, just to bleed somewhere. I filled up a notebook with everything I couldn't say out loud. My anger, my confusion, the memories that hurt the most. The questions I knew I'd never get answers to. Then came therapy that I didn't want to go. I thought it was for people weaker than me. But the truth is, it takes strength to admit you're not okay. I sat in that chair with a man I'd never met and said, everyone I trusted stabbed me in the back. I don't know how to live with that. And he said something that hit me right in the chest. You don't live with the betrayal, you live through it. And when you come out the other side, you get to decide what it made you. That became my mission. To not let their choices define me. I went back to the gym. Started waking up early. Cooked my own meals. Took long walks without music, just me and my thoughts. It wasn't about getting over it. It was about rebuilding me. Brick by brick. For months, I didn't open Instagram. Didn't want to see their faces, their lives, their stories. But eventually, curiosity got the better of me. I checked. Ava had deleted almost all our photos. Eli and Malik still posting their little bro adventures like nothing ever happened. It stung. But then, I laughed. Because it finally clicked. They didn't break me. They freed me. They removed themselves from my life. They showed me who they were, no masks, no lies. And that was a gift. I started reconnecting with people I hadn't seen in years. Old college friends that my cousin Nia, who always had my back but kept her distance from the triad because she said, that vibe ain't right. Turns out, she was right all along. One night, Nia and I were catching up at a late-night diner, and I told her everything. She didn't say, I told you so. She said, you're gonna love harder and wiser because of this. And for the first time in a long time, I believe that. Here's the truth people don't like to admit. Healing doesn't look brave. It looks boring. It's quiet. It's lonely. It's sitting with your pain when you'd rather distract yourself. But you do it anyway. You go through the fire. And slowly, so slowly, you start to feel like yourself again. Or, maybe, someone better. It's strange how pain reshapes you. Not into someone new, but into someone more real. There's a kind of clarity that only comes after you've been broken. When the noise fades, when the distractions fall away, and all that's left is you. Just you. And that's where I began again. About 6 months after it all fell apart, I got a new job. Nothing flashy, just a stable gig at a small marketing firm downtown. The kind of place where people knew each other's names and brought donuts on Fridays. My manager, a quiet, older guy named Terrence, took an interest in me right away. Not in a micromanaging kind of way, but more like he saw something in me that I didn't. One day, after work, he pulled me aside and said, you carry yourself like someone who's been through hell, but you don't let it make you bitter. That's rare. I was stunned that I hadn't told him anything about my personal life. He looked at me, calm but firm. You'll find this world's full of people who don't know how to love without conditions. The trick is not becoming one of them. We sat down for coffee a week later, and I told him everything. About Ava, about Eli, about Malik, the lake house. The silence, the scars. He didn't interrupt once. When I was done, he leaned back, folded his arms, and said something I'll never forget. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about cutting the weight off your own back. I didn't respond right away, I just sat there, feeling something move in my chest for the first time in a while. That night, I went home and pulled out the last remaining trace of Ava. A hoodie she'd left behind. I'd shoved it in a box months ago. I hadn't been able to throw it away. Not until then. I walked it outside, tossed it into the fire pit on my patio, and lit a match. As it burned, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even blink. I just watched it go. The fibers, the memories, the part of me that still waited for an apology. I let it all go. From there, things began to shift. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since high school. I started hiking on weekends, getting lost in places where no one knew my name. I started sleeping better, dreaming again. And one night after a long hike, I sat on a rock overlooking a quiet valley, and I said to myself out loud, I forgive them, not because they deserve it, but because I do. There's a lie we're taught, that closure comes from the people who hurt us, that they have to say sorry, that they have to explain. But the truth is, closure isn't something they give you. It's something you decide. And I decided. That night, on that rock, with the wind in my ears and peace in my chest. People ask me now if I ever talk to them. Eli, Malik, Ava. The answer is no. Not because I'm angry, but because I'm free. Forgiveness doesn't mean reunion. It means I no longer want revenge. It means I stopped bleeding from wounds they won't ever apologize for. I rebuilt myself. Not into the person I was, but into someone wiser. Someone who knows that loyalty isn't just a word. It's a choice. Every single day. A year had passed. 12 months since the kiss. Since the couch. Since my world cracked in two. I was sitting outside a bookstore, sipping black coffee, and waiting for Nia when I saw him. Malik. Same walk, same swagger, but he looked older. Not in years, in weight, like he'd been carrying something heavy and never put it down. He noticed me too. We locked eyes. And for a second, I swear the whole world went quiet. He hesitated. Then walked over. Jordan, he said, almost like a question. I nodded once, calm measured. He didn't try to smile, didn't play it cool. He just looked tired. I'm sorry, man, he said. For everything. I've thought about what I did every single day. I don't expect forgiveness. I had to say it. I didn't say anything right away. I didn't need to. Because in that moment I realized. I didn't feel angry. Or sad. Or broken. I felt done. You hurt me, I said. And you watched it happen like I didn't matter. He lowered his eyes. I know. But I'm not carrying it anymore. That's on you now. He nodded, slowly, like he'd expected that, but hoped for more. I stood up. I hope you find peace, I told him. Then I walked away. No drama. No scene. No more pieces of me left in his hands. A few weeks later, I got an email. From Eli. Just the subject line, can we talk? I deleted it. Because by then, I understood something powerful. Not every chapter needs closure. Some just need a final page turned. And as for Ava, she moved to another city, started over. I haven't heard from her since. And I don't need to. I don't wish her pain. I don't wish her joy either. I just wish her distance. Because healing isn't always about rebuilding bridges. Sometimes. It's about knowing which ones to burn and never cross again. I'm not telling this story for pity. Or revenge. Or even to paint them as villains. I'm telling it because someone out there might be where I was. Staring at betrayal and wondering if they'll ever smile again. Wondering if they'll ever trust again. Wondering if they're stupid for not seeing it coming. You're not stupid. You're human. And the truth is, some people will only love you as long as it's convenient for them. And when it's not, they'll leave. Or worse, they'll stay and break you from the inside. But you still get to heal. You still get to rise. You still get to love again, smarter, braver, wiser. This is my story. Of betrayal. Of loss. Of rebuilding. Not just my trust. Not just my heart. But myself.